Hey everyone, this is David for the Chicago Smart Podcast for September 7th, 2025. So it's been a while. It's been about darn near 3 months since I've recorded anything. Just a lot going on, just personally. Just haven't really had a chance to kind of sit down and do this in long form. I didn't want to go ahead and seat you guys out and not really give you guys a complete, podcast or give you a half-hearted podcast. Work and just the summer came up and just kids and had an unfortunate passing in our family. My mother-in-law passed away about about 6 weeks ago or so, and I might even be saying yeah, so about 6 weeks or so. It's just it seemed like it's all come just together. It just seems like it hasn't been even been that long. Seems like it was yesterday, but just that and just spending time with the family because it's just it's been tough. It's been a tough couple of weeks, though I have kept up with sports in general, particularly the Cubbies. I've had a lot to say since that time. There's been an All-Star break. There's been a post All-Star break. So there's been a lot going on with the Cubbies, and it just seems like it's two different teams from the last time I recorded until now. It seems like it's just we're talking about two different teams, but it's about the same team. There's going to be a very, very, very baseball heavy. I don't think I'm going to really talk about anything else other than baseball. But again, I'm going to kind of wing this one a little bit just because I feel like this been a long time coming. But just as I mentioned at the beginning, just it's a different team. I'm not really sure what this team's objective is. I know they got some veterans in that clubhouse. Again, I'm not privy to what those conversations are. Um, Obviously the beat reporters and the people that are close to them, even the people that have that kind of access, guys on the radio, whatnot, who have that kind of access or have that in uh with them, haven't really mentioned anything about the team really meeting or their team having any, you know, closed door post game discussions. It kind of just feels like they're just going through the motions, right? They kind of see that this is where they're at. They're in the wild card right now. And they're just like, well, we have this top wild card seed and we're gonna coast in. And that kind of just seems like a trend sometimes, and just not only in baseball, it just seems like a trend in just sports in general. Specifically, I've noticed that a lot in basketball with some of these better teams, the super teams, or even the teams that seem to just be at a better competitive advantage, for lack of a better term or word. And it just seems like that's where they're at. That they just want to just be stuck in this. Well, we're here. We're gonna rest everybody, or at least give everybody some rest. Maybe let these bench guys that usually don't play a lot play a little bit more. Make sure that we got our rotation sort of set. Let those guys, especially the guys that are coming into, you know, pitch heavy seasons. They haven't pitched as many innings, whether it be a Cade Horton, trying to watch a Matt Boyd's, innings, trying to make sure those guys are set. And that's all great. That's all fine and dandy. But I just feel like they've taken on the personality of their manager too much. And I know that's something that's been discussed by others before, whether it be on the radio or other podcasters or even just people just commenting on Twitter and other social media platforms. I feel like they're just like, we're complacent, we're good, we're here. My numbers are not what they are. Um, and it just my numbers will eventually come, and it's just like, well, time is starting to run short. If you have a bad stretch of say 2 games, it's over, right? I mean, it's over. You're playing not to lose now, right? Because you feel like there's a bigger picture coming up in about 3 weeks or so. I don't know. Honestly, it's just like I said, I'm gonna wing this. I don't really have a script or a format. It's just I just finished watching them lose to the Washington Nationals for a second day in a row. They lost 5-2, and there seems to be no sense of urgency from this team. It's just ho hum. It's like these are the teams you're supposed to just like steamroll, literally. Like what we saw Friday, that should have been the entire weekend. Last weekend when they played the Rockies, right? That should have been, you should steamroll these teams. Teams like the Braves, you're supposed to steamroll, and the Braves are having an off year. You need to steamroll these teams. There's no reason why you guys are just so just lackadaisical, and you're just the way you're playing. Like, I get it. Sometimes, you have little injuries, little things that are wearing on you throughout the season. But like, I don't want to hear after the season's over whether they make a deep playoff run or if they just get shown the door after the wild card game, right? They don't make it past the wild card game or however far they make it in October. Even if they make it to October, yes, I said that. I don't understand why they think it's automatic they're going to make it to October because they get into a really bad winning streak, and I'm sorry, let me take that back. Reverse. They get into a bad losing streak. I wish they'd get into a really good winning streak. If they get into a bad losing streak, what playoffs are you talking about? You're planning for something that is not guaranteed. You guys haven't clinched, you haven't hit your magic number, whatever that magic number may even be. So I just don't get this let's be complacent. Like, this complacency is just, it's maddening to see. Like, you have veterans in that clubhouse, like I mentioned before, but those veterans are just like, my numbers are going to be what they're going to be, right? And I love them to death, but Dansby Swanson's one of them. Ian Happ's another one. Ian Happ has really been grinding my gears this year. And I'm not even talking about just numbers, just the way he talks like it's automatic. He should be in the lineup every day. And it's just like, dude, I'm sorry, but your manager just said a few weeks ago that he is going to start the best guys possible because to give you guys the best um chances of winning. And that doesn't seem like that's what's happening. You had Owen Casey sitting on your bench doing nothing, getting a start here and there, getting replaced, and it's just like, stop. I'm tired of seeing Justin Turner start over Michael Bush. Well, the numbers say he can't hit against lefties. Well, no kidding. But eventually they're going to run into a lefty in the playoffs, right? Let's say they play the Padres. I'm sure the Padres have plenty of lefties. Is Dylan Cease not a lefty? And if I have this wrong, please, 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 please. I'm even going to look this up. I'm going to do something a little first here. As I'm talking to you guys, I'm going to look this up. So, just so I can keep talking here while I look this up, right? Like, the Padres have lefties. I just don't understand. So you're gonna tell me, I'm sorry, the Padres have lefties. So you're gonna tell me that in a playoff game, you're going to start Justin Turner, and this is what they're gonna say. Well, he has postseason experience. That's great, but he's not the Turner of old. He is the Justin Turner of now. He's 40 years old. I get it. He has had his moment in the sun. It's this is the end of his career. It happened. The guy had a great career. He has nothing to be ashamed about. And Dylan Cease is a righty. So let me actually see who are those lefties in that rotation. Because I'm sure that Padres have a lefty in their rotation, and I just cannot remember who they are. So yeah, so you have right. So you have a couple of these a couple of their lefties. So you have a Nestor Cortez, right? Um, right now he's down. There's Wandy Peralta. There's these are the guys that are in the bullpen, right? Like, I don't understand. I just don't understand. You're going to run into a lefty in the playoffs. It's not like it's not like it's a mystery that the guy cannot hit, right? I don't understand that, right? The Padres or whether it be the Mets, right? So you're going to tell me that you're going to sit Michael Bush in a potential playoff game that either gets you ahead in the playoff. So it's to say it's a game one, right? You're going to not start Michael Bush in a game. He's going to have to learn to hit lefties. Only ways to do it is to hit left-handed hitters. And the time to do that experiment is not during a playoff game. It is during the season. Stop sitting these guys, right? Stop having somebody sit at a locker and tell you that they're going to start no matter what because they've earned it. You've earned nothing. I'm sorry. There's not one player in Major League Baseball who's earned anything. And please, if that is a hot take for you, well, I'm sorry. That is a hot take. For you to tell me to sit there in front of your locker and tell me you've earned that when your numbers say otherwise. And I get it. Sometimes guys just go through slumps. It happens. I get that. But this complacency, it's crazy because it's almost like they've adopted the demeanor of their manager, who's a little bit more just calm. He's not the one to really blow his stack. He's not an Aaron Boone who's going to get ejected, X amount of times a year, right? Or in a week. Aaron Boone gets ejected from games quite a bit because he's a hothead and he goes to bat for his players, which Council doesn't do that. And Suzuki is one of the main guys that's always getting squeezed. Yeah, he won't. He will not go to bat. Don't know why, right? And Joe Madden said something very interesting a few weeks ago. It's probably about a month ago. I'd probably say 3 weeks to about 4 weeks ago. He was on the inside the clubhouse on the score on Saturday mornings, and he was telling them that a lot of these teams are starting to adapt this attitude of where the front office runs things, right? And when I say front office, the gurus, the nerds tell you who you should and not be starting based on numbers and all that. There's no more managing, you know, using your gut to manage, right? It's analytics, it's numbers. Analytics are great, right? And he didn't disagree with that. The man's obviously very analytic, friendly, and he likes analytics, and so do I. That's great. But sometimes you just got to manage by gut, and sometimes you just got to say this is the right move, and that's it. So you're telling me that they gave this man all that money for them to tell him this is the buttons you're gonna press. So why don't I have kept Ross? Why don't I have brought somebody else in here? If you're gonna say the manager is really just a small piece of what they do because he doesn't take any at bats, right? But he does decide that lineup. So if that lineup is being decided by, say, whoever Jet has hired, right, to do all that analyzing and say, hey, these are the nine guys who are going to give you the best chance to win today, right? Yeah, he said something that was very interesting, going back to what Joe Madden said. But the only team that he seems to think that doesn't adopt that philosophy or hasn't adopted that philosophy is the Milwaukee Brewers. They're doing something different. Because sometimes when something works, and you see it work for a bunch of other teams, sometimes other teams want to piggyback on that trend, right? The opener, for example, right? You'll see an opener in a World Series game. It happened last year where you're going to have an opener because you're trying to preserve an arm or because you're trying to extend an arm or because, you're trying to push one of your arms a little bit more. Sometimes people adopt that. That happened today. We had an opener today. Drew Pomeranz pitched for that first inning, and then here came Colin Ray to pitch the other five and whatever 2/3 or whatever that he pitched today. And it drives me crazy. Why can't we have our own identity, right? Like why can't we just do things the way that we want to do them instead of doing the way the league does them? Is there some things that we can maybe pull from the league? Absolutely. Absolutely, right? If you see something work for another team, and you think you can make it work, it works, right? At the beginning of the season, the biggest trend that a lot of people were doing was those torpedo bats. Don't know if they're still using them. I'm sure that there's a couple of teams that are using them, but we haven't heard about them anymore, right? It's not the trendy thing to do, right? But going back to the where this conversation was at, and again, I'm gonna throw a lot of stuff at you. I'm gonna babble. I'm just gonna give you guys I'm gonna just throw everything that I have right now into this because I'm trying to have a conversation like if I was sitting here talking to one of my buddies, right? But it's just me, right? It's just me by myself right now talking into this mic and telling you guys what I think, right? The Dodgers are another team, and I'm always talking about them because they seem to be the trendy team because they spent all that money to try to be repeat champions. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's great, right? But we're looking at this, they're taking this approach of we're just going to coast in, right? Do they really want to win the division? Doesn't really look like it because the way they're playing, the style of playing, the way David Roberts is managing, and I get it. You can tell me injuries, 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 injuries. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. You guys are the Dodgers. You guys are built to win. Your lineup is not hitting. You keep continuing to want to hit Michael Conforto for and all that, and that's great. They won today, but they're just posting in, and then they're going to turn it on when the playoffs come. That seems to be a trend, not only in baseball, but it seems to happen a lot in basketball, as I said, where, oh, we'll be fine. We're just going to turn it on when the playoffs come. It's like, what the heck happened to playing hard the entire season? 162 game season versus an 82 game season with basketball, right? Shorter season even with at least game wise. with football where you have 16 to 17 games, right? It's mind-boggling, right? How these teams just think you could just turn it on. Sometimes it's not that easy. I have never managed a Major League Baseball game. Obviously, you guys know that. A Little League game. I haven't even managed a T-ball game in my life, right? My experience of making these sort of baseball moves is, I'm what they call, right? They call up what they call them armchair quarterback, right? For football. Well, I'm an armchair manager, right? My experience goes off of playing something on the PlayStation, right? Like the MLB the show, right? And sometimes those moves don't work out for me. Saying, hey, I got this lead, or I gotta, I'm down, I gotta put this guy in, or hey, you gotta do this, I gotta do that. And sometimes the moves don't work, right? So a manager could be highly scrutinized, and when they win, winning cures everything, right? But when you make a bad move, like what we saw last night, again, going back to the Dodgers with Yamamoto, he's got an 8 and 2/3, he's got no hitter going. He gives up a run, they take him out. He's at 112 pitches, right? Your man's got two outs already. You're thinking you're good to go, right? Nope. They dropped that game because they got somebody in there that does not have the confidence to close the game out. And he said it. He's going through a stretch right now, and it happens. It happens. That's fine, right? I don't get paid the big bucks like these guys. But the fact of the matter is that they're this is a weird year that literally if the Dodgers repeated, I wouldn't be surprised. If there was a new team that came in and won, like even the Brewers have a chance to win the World Series, right? Anybody that makes it to the playoffs has a good chance this year because I don't see in any league a team that looks far and away like they're unbeatable. But October, sometimes weird things happen in October. You have these unsung heroes, guys that you don't even expect that were just trending towards a bad season during the regular season. All of a sudden, those bright lights of October come, something just happens, something clicks, and it's fine. But these guys coming in and just saying, "Hey, well, if we make it past the wild card, great. If we don't make it past the wild card, we can still tell our fans that we made it, right? We made it to the playoffs. We cracked the playoffs for the first time since 2018. In 7 years, we hadn't made the playoffs because 2020 to me doesn't count as far as playoff wise, right? I'm not talking about whoever won the World Series. I'm talking about as far as the stretch of that they haven't made the playoffs, right? They'll spin it to you. Oh, we made it in 2020. A lot of people did, right? But at the end of the day, the Dodgers were the one that won it. Whether however you feel about that, Steven, that's nor here nor there, right? But for the first time in 7 years, you guys cracked the playoffs, and then it's all of a sudden it's like, well, we made the playoffs, so now we're going to justify that next year we're gonna charge you up the nose, right? For these, now for sure, right? Now for sure, yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's sell them hope, right? That seems to be the trend, right? Let's see what happens. Let's just roll the dice and go into October and see what happens. No moves at the trade deadline, nothing to supplement it, nothing to give this team anything, right? Oh, we got enough. We got enough. Really? That's great. But sometimes enough is not enough. I mean, again, and I seem to center around the Dodgers because of the moves they made this last offseason, right? They wanted to supplement that team to say, we want to just have just an embarrassment of riches when it comes to pitching. And it's shown, right? All these guys that have gone down have been pitchers, right? They both of their catchers are down right now. Dalton Rushing and Will Smith are down for the Dodgers. But again, right, these are the teams I talk about, like when you're in that elite status, right? The Yankees are like they seem to sort of be trending somewhere. The Mets, okay, right? But you don't know. You just don't know. In a short series, we're talking about literally the best of three. You're going to tell me that this is the chance you're going to take when you've gotten so close to the Brewers, just so you can have that first round bye, right? So you can have that first round bye like the Brewers are doing. The Brewers are thinking, hey, if we can just continue to just beat on these teams that we're supposed to beat, we maybe won't be able to sweep everybody, but let's at least try to take 2 out of 3, and let's try to take at least the weeks and the days and the number of games that the Cubs have to catch up to them are dwindling, right? And their magic number shrinks to get that division. They're going to be like, now we're going to wait on that winner between the Padres and the Cubs, and hopefully they can get past that first round because that's the monkey that they have to slay. Or I'm sorry, right? Not the monkey. Excuse me. I mean, I'm getting my puns here. This is the dragon they have to slay, right? That's the monkey they have to get off their back. That's what I'm talking about. Like that's the one.
thing that they have to do, and they think that they have enough, right? But again, their manager has that fieriness, and that's why they were able to fire off what 14 victories in a row. I might even have them off by a game or two, right? How many games in a row that they win for them to even just stack victories and even cause more space between them and the Cubs in that division standing, right? Their manager seems to have something on that post to do less with more, right? And that's what Conto was supposed to be with us, less with more, right? And he can only put out there whoever he can put out there. But the lineup he put out there was an embarrassment. I get it, the PCA's hurt. I get it, you want to give Tuck one extra game, but it's just like stop. We those are not your best. Bush should have been out there. Period today. He did not get one at bat today. How is that possible? And I get it. You don't want to burn guys out. Give them rest where you need to give them rest. But sometimes when you have a team on the ropes to say, hey, this one's a cakewalk, right? We should be able to cakewalk through the series, and your guys are not hitting, you got to do something different. Period. Right? There should be no reason, and this is not a knock on Carson Kelly, that Carson Kelly's the one that's carrying you guys sometimes. That is not a knock on him. None. Zero. If you'd have told me Carson Kelly was going to hit more than 10 home runs for us this year, I'd have been like, he's going to have a good year, right? It's just that's he's having a really good year. So congratulations to him. Matt Shaw doing great after that, after he got sent down. I mean, there's little small little victories, positives. Nico Horner. Let's just talk about Nico Horner for a minute. When you had fans out there who wanted to trade him, I'm telling you right now that if at the end of this season, whatever happens at the end of the season, if the Cubs were to go ahead and put the word out that Nico Horner was available for the right trade or for the right package, there'd be teams that'd be knocking on their door, banging on the door saying, yes, absolutely. Is he going to hit you a bunch of home runs? No. But this man is hitting what 290 right now, maybe if I even have his numbers right, he's probably hitting about 290 right now. Maybe he doesn't give you a lot of home runs, but the defense and his batting average, yeah, he's 290. He's got 296 home runs, 56 RBIs, 149 hits. I know a lot of teams could be like, yeah, we're gonna take that guy, right? I don't need you to be this power hitter. I just need you to be consistent and give me consistent gold glove defense. The man hardly ever gives you a day where he is going to give you multiple errors. I think they were even talking about during their broadcast that he only has what? I don't know how many errors, three maybe for the season? Like that's crazy. That's nuts. That is insane. In fact, I'm looking it up right now. I told you this is going to be a different edition of this one just because I just want to spitball. Just throw it all out there right now for you guys. Like, it's crazy. So, since August 1st, he has committed one error. Since August 1st. That's nuts. The man is a gold glover for a reason, right? Dansby, despite him having sparks of good and bad every now and then, is a solid defender, right? Solid gold glove defense as shortstop, right? That's great. But sometimes there has to be more than that. These guys are going to go into the clubhouse. They're going to say all the right things, right? They're going to go, oh, well, off we go to Atlanta and let's see what we can do in Atlanta. Because they're going to come back home to play Tampa Bay, who, by the way, is another team who is trying to fight for a wild card spot. And it's not like they're just going to be like, well, we're going to lay down. We're too far back. They're only like a game or two out, really, out of a wild card spot. Speaking of Tampa Bay, the Rays, I don't understand where the sense of urgency is at with this team. It's not there. It's almost like ho hum. We're just trying to get to the end of the season, trying to be as healthy as possible, right? Excuse me. Um, Daniel Palencia, I don't know, right? I didn't check out the post game. I literally right after the final out, I came right down to start recording this, and we don't know what's going to happen with Palencia. He looks like he pulled something, so maybe Hodges the next guy up for the closer if he's hurt and he needs a stent, a DL stent. Like it's amazing that this team just did not add anything at the deadline to supplement that bullpen and just supplement because again, a lot of these times in these even in these playoffs, right? Like the starters are pretty decent or may have a clunker every now and then. So you got to go to that bullpen, right? High leverage guys, guys that can get you to just hold, right? To get you some holds. They said, no, we got enough. They looked down at the entire bullpen and said, we got enough. Unbelievable. That is unbelievable. I don't want to hear at the end of the season that, oh man, like we heard about last year with Dansby. You know what? He wouldn't sit and he was hurt. What you mean he wouldn't sit? I'm sorry. At the end of the day, if Dansby is a team player, if he is says who he says he is, and he's going to be a team player, you got no choice but to sit. If you feel like it's affecting you that much and you're hurting the team instead of helping them, man, I appreciate you being, wanting to be a team player, wanting to gut it out. That's great. But when you're hurting the team, please don't do it. Don't do it. Don't gut anything out. See if maybe a day or two off, maybe even not fielding something, right? Like at the end of the day, you got to do what's best for your team, right? If you feel like you need an adjustment, something mechanically is not right, you need to let somebody else step up and try to help that team. Because at the end of the day, it's a team sport, right? It's not an individual. Sometimes there's individual things that happen that can help the team, but at the end of the day, those nine guys are have the same goal that you have is get those 27 outs, right? It's just the sense of urgency I'm looking at for this team is just it's not the same team. If for some reason Kyle Tucker was banged up, and let's talk about injuries. Let's talk about that Kyle Tucker injury. I know it's probably been scrutinized and talked to death and dissected in a million ways, but I haven't gotten a chance to have my say in it. I've said some stuff in my Facebook baseball group, but I'm gonna talk about it here. He didn't need to start in the All Star game. He didn't even need to play. He could have just taken the All Star game off to see if that would help, right? Even if he just had one at bat, he was just out there in the field, right? Whatever, an inning or two. He didn't need to accept that invitation, right? He accepted yes, but don't play, right? Say I'm not going to play. I'm nursing something here. It's like you hide it until somebody else points out, hey, something's not right with this guy. Something's off with him, right? And I guess I understand. Yes, you try to play through things. Through a 162 game season, you're going to have your little, you know, injuries, things that are nagging that you can feel like you can play through, and that's fantastic. But if it's something like that you're mechanically changing your swing and it's starting to introduce bad habits into your swing, that's bad, right? Let's just lay it out there. It's bad. And it's just becoming this trend where it's like, well, he gutted it out. That's great. But then you're changing mechanically what was working for you. So how is that a good thing? Right? He seems a little, and he also seems a little timid too when he's out there in the outfield. With, I'm not saying the man has to go right into the wall like Wally Coyote, right? But it's like he just seems sometimes a little timid to dive for a ball or go, a certain way for a ball. Is he afraid that he's gonna break something? Is it because it's a contract year? Again, at the end of the day, you know, teams are still gonna bid on him, right? Whether it's the Cubs, and if the Cubs ultimately win that bid at the end of the season, right? And how much does he get? But I'm sorry, to me, if I'm an executive of another team, of course I want a Kyle Tucker on my team. Cubs, even Cubs, right? Like, but how much is he really worth? At this point, with his numbers this year and with what you've been seeing out there in the outfield, what is he really worth? Is he really worth those $500 million, right? I feel like the Cubs are going to use that against him. And that's why he probably tried to stay out there, my opinion at least, to try to gut it out, right? He figures it's a contract year. I'm going to hurt my ultimate overall numbers. I don't want to do that. Okay, that's great. But at the end of the day, right, this is more than just about you, right? This is about the team. If you're trying to do something great by the end of the year, it's going to take an effort from everyone. And if you feel like you're mechanically something not right, that's hurting the team. It's just not going to work for me. I just it's just it's maybe something that I have to get used to, and it's a trend that baseball is going in, right? It's going in a different direction, but I guess it's just something for me to get used to. Not so much the injuries and guys trying to play to them, but the lackadaisical play. The hey, we've got this big lead. We're not gonna really push it too much. We got a cushion. But baseball's crazy. I mean, it's a crazy sport. I mean, it is a very crazy sport. San Francisco went from a few weeks ago, not even having even a chance to even crack a playoff, and now they're breathing down that wild card, right? That third wild card. They're breathing down the necks of the Mets. So is Cincinnati, for that matter, who beat the Mets today. Like, I don't know. It's just it's nuts to me to think that we're just gonna go ahead and we're gonna just take this lackadaisical approach to just everything, right? And hope that it's just gonna work out for the better and for the best, and that's great. If it works out for other teams, fantastic. But we're literally looking at, right, three wild cards. You got Chicago with the top one with a plus 5.5, I'm sorry, a plus 5 game, right? On San Diego. San Diego's a game and a half, in front of for that second spot. Then you got the Mets at 76 and 67, who have lost 2 games in a row, with Arizona right behind them at 72 and 71, with 4 games behind that third wild card spot, right? With Cincinnati, again, same record, 72 and 71, 4 games out. San Francisco also 72 and 71, 4 games out. St. Louis is even in it, which is surprising to me at 72 and 72. They're 4.5 out of a third spot. Anything can happen. Something can shift. We're talking about 4 teams fighting for one spot. If you want to count the Mets, five, right? We'll say five, right? Because right now, if the season ended today, the Mets would have gotten into the playoffs, right? With these other 4 teams, but it is stacked. Four, 4.5 games is the biggest lead. So you're talking about 4 teams separated by 4 games. That's not much. A bad week, and we're talking about something completely different. One of these teams sneaking in. That is insane. That is insane. And that is just the National League. In the American League, you're looking at the Yankees with that top spot, plus five, plus 5.5, or sorry, plus five, um, over the next, right, over the last team, right? Then you got Boston at plus 3. Seattle's got that third spot in the wild card, right? Next team after that is 74 and 70, the Rangers. They're a game and a half off the Seattle Mariners for that third and final wild card spot. Then you got Kansas City at 2. Then you got 72 and 70, which I'm sorry, Kansas City 73 and 70, Cleveland 72 and 70, and they're 2.5 off. So, Kansas City and Cleveland are only separated by a game, right? For that final wild card spot. And those Rays that we're going to be seeing next weekend are 4 games out of a wild card spot. So anything can happen, right? In the next couple of weeks, right? We're looking at, let's see, 2 weeks, maybe 2.5. We're literally looking at 3, 6, 9 games, 4 more. That's 13, 16. We're looking at 19 games. We literally have about 18 to 19 games left for the last, for the season to be over. Last game of the season is Cubs, St. Louis, 220, September 28th. Imagine, let's just for a minute there. Imagine they're taking on potentially in the next couple of weeks, they're taking on potentially 3 teams that are in hunt for a playoff. That's your Rays, Cincinnati in 2 weeks, the Mets, and St. Louis. Wouldn't that be crazy that if the Cubs says, hey, we're in, we're good, we're just gonna chill back, and all of a sudden these next the last, we'll say, week and a half, those 4 games with Cincinnati, those 3 games with the Mets, that's 7. Those last 10 games, they have to win them. All of a sudden, now this lackadaisical approach that they took for the last month of the season is now going to come and bite them in the butt because they decided that they were going to play lackadaisical, and all of a sudden they need these last 10 games. Then what the hell are they going to do if they choke it away? Yes, because it has happened before, right? That they can choke this away because it's not a guarantee that they're in it until they clinch that magic number. There is no possible playoff. All right. And it drives me crazy that these guys that they got, I mean, I love Pat Hughes. He's great. Him and Ron Coomer are great on the radio. When they're on, they will be very honest. And I appreciate their honesty. They try to stay positive, and that is great. But when anybody else is in there with Ron Coomer, I can't listen. I just can't listen. It's the same thing with that marquee broadcast, right? Don't start talking about stuff, and that's great. I'm not saying that you're just so like monotone. Oh, that was a strike. That was a ball. Like very monotone. You're not making jokes. You're not making telling stories. You're not, you know, educating the listeners, right? Whether it be on the radio or whether it be on the TV. But Boog is, I don't know what it is. I just cannot stand the guy. He's such a clown. Like I cannot stand Bucciambi. He is such a clown. He's talking about like it's a foregone conclusion that these guys are going in the playoffs. Let's be real. This team is not playing up to what it should be playing. They're not playing with the urgency they should be playing. They're not doing the little things that they need to do. They're going up there with guys on base and just hitting these little choppers. Not saying you need to hit a home run every time, but let's play some situational baseball. Like we've forgotten how to play situational baseball. Are you kidding me? Like this is ridiculous. You need to be ready for October because in October, situational baseball is going to kill you if you don't play it properly. Not saying dropping down bunts is going to do this and do that and all that good stuff. No, situational baseball is not just bunts, it's just moving the guy over if you can, right? 0 to 1 outs. If you can move that guy over, just a little chopper, great, right? Situational baseball. Think about what you need to do because in the playoffs, yeah, are there blowouts? Yeah, absolutely there are blowouts. But a lot of these games, it's cold, you know, guys sometimes are a little tighter, games are going to be a little bit, more tighter. You're going to play those 1-0 games, 2-1 games, 3-1 games, those games that are super close that are going to come down to the bullpen and situational hitting. I don't want to hear it at the end of the season. Oh, our guys didn't do this, our guys didn't do that. They were doing it for the entire season, or at least half the season after the All Star break. I don't want to hear that our offense is broken. Jed just said a few weeks ago our offense was broken, in more or less terms. He didn't say it exactly. Our offense is broken. We've been hearing that the offense is broken since 2018. So freaking fix it. Why do you keep bringing these guys in? They're good clubhouse guys. That's fantastic. Justin Turner, great clubhouse guy. That is fantastic. He can help a guy like a PCA or like a Matt Shaw or guys like that to put his arm around them and help them out because he's a vet of the game. That's great. That's all great. But when they start taking away playing time from these guys, that's when there's a problem, right? You need to start bringing in guys that are going to charge that clubhouse up. I'm not asking for a Wilson Contreras who's a hothead who's going to be starting fights. I'm not talking about that. I need a guy and not a rah rah guy. I need a guy that's going to bring that fire. I'm not saying the guy has to come in there. Ian Happ has to come in there as a vet or a Dansby Swanson to flip over a catering table. I'm not saying that. But you need a guy in there to say, hey, we need to get our heads out of our backside, out of our butts, and get it going. This is the end of the season. We need to finish strong. Because guess what? Those bad habits of let's play safe can also cost you down the line. Don't play it safe. I'm not saying that you need to go ahead and run yourself into a wall, like I said, because you're trying to catch a ball. Maybe it's just best for you to take the route and say, hey, it's going to bounce off the wall. Let me see what best play I can make it bouncing off the wall, right? We're not doing the things we need to do. I don't want to hear with, well, the wind was blowing in. Well, it didn't hurt the other team, right? They somehow still hit home runs or said, hey, this wind is blowing in. Balls are just not going anywhere. Let's just see where we could chop something down the left field line, down the right field line, or get something up the middle, something, right? Like play like you've played before. These guys are vets. They should know what to do. I'm so glad that they do team activities together. I know that over the summer I saw them going on like, boat rides and doing things together and having dinner together and getting together. That's fantastic for team camaraderie. That is fantastic. I don't know what those conversations are. I'm not privy to what they're talking about, but I'm sure that whatever they see in the media, they're probably talking about it. Maybe I'm not saying that they take it to heart when someone like me or another podcaster, a news reporter, a beat reporter, a guy on the radio, a guy on the TV says something about them. Maybe they just act, it's critics. You're going to get it, right? You're a professional athlete. It's going to happen. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about these guys really saying, hey, I know that this is what the skip wants us to do, but maybe as the vets of these teams, we need to really say, hey, let's close the door. Let's really just talk. Guys, we need to finish strong because guess what? The opportunity is there. I don't see a team in either league that looks so strong that it's like we can't get past them, right? The road leads to through this team, right? In the case of, let's say the playoffs ended today, the road to get to that National League championship of the NLCS, it's going to go through the Brewers because the winner of that first wild card game, whether it be Cubs and Padres, Cubs and Dodgers, because of the Padres all of a sudden overtake the Dodgers, or a Cubs and Mets series, wherever it is, right? Wherever it is, right? That road to the NLCS goes through Milwaukee. Because in order for Milwaukee to get to the NLCS, they have to beat that wild card team that's going to come in, right? And then whoever wins that, whoever has that second wild card, which is going to, I'm sorry, the second wild card, the second division, which looked right now is like, it'd be Philly. So it'd be Philly and whoever, right? So again, in order for these teams to do this, they have to get through those first two seeds, whoever plays them, right? But in the case of the Cubs, it'd have to go through Milwaukee, right? Milwaukee has been there before as far as the wild card, and they've known they've seen a lead disappear because Pete Alonso puts one in the seats like he did last year. You don't know. You don't know what's going to happen. There is not a foregone conclusion that it's like once we get into October, everything's going to change and we're magically going to start situational hitting. That's just not the mentality that I would have, right? But again, I am not a major league manager. I've never managed a team. I don't know anything about this, so maybe I'm just talking out of my backside. But as a somebody who's been watching the game for a very long time, this is one of those weird years where anybody can win the World Series if they just get hot at the right time. But again, Milwaukee looks very strong. I'm just saying in the National League, the Dodgers look to be the weakest. That's my opinion. Out of all the teams, literally the weakest are the Dodgers and the Mets. To me, from my vantage point, are your weaker teams going into there. Philadelphia looks to sort of be turning a corner at somewhere. But again, things can change. We cannot just depend on the schedule and say we're just gonna just play it out and we're good. We got a cushion. It just drives me insane to see this kind of play because I know that the kind of play that they're capable of because we saw it in the first half of the season. I get it that there's a lot of injuries and a lot of teams are dealing with a lot of injuries, guys having down years, guys that weren't expected to, have such down years. That happens. It's baseball. It's crazy. That's why I love it. 162 games. It is fantastic. I love it. Right? NFL season officially started Thursday. All the slated games are today. Tomorrow the Bears play. But I'm stuck on baseball until it's over. Because it's crazy. Anything can happen. Way. There's no way if you'd have told me s- July 4th, which is I remember that's when the Cubs went off on the Cardinals, that the Cardinals are gonna crack the playoffs or even gonna be still in playoff talk, even if it's just 4 games, right? 4 games is not much. I'd have been like, no way, no way. The Cardinals are cooked. It's over, right? Same thing with San Francisco. Yeah, they picked up Rafi Devers and they might make a change and turn and maybe, it's just it's a move for this year, but also next year and the future. I don't think so. It's just been a wild season, guys, and it's where it's not over. And when they get to Atlanta, it's not like Atlanta's going to be like, look, we're not going anywhere. All 9 guys are literally just going to lay down in their positions, right? That'd be great. Wouldn't that be a vision? They get to Atlanta, they get to Truist Park tomorrow, and when the game starts, they say play ball, and the pitcher and all 9 guys behind them they just all lay down and say, okay, can you just hit the ball? Can you get this game over? We're not going anywhere. So we might as well just get this over. Let us know when you want to stop scoring. We're just gonna lay down here for you. It's not gonna happen. That's not reality. These guys are going to play the games. They have to finish the season, right? They might have incentives in their contracts or for the competition. We're just gonna say for the competition of it, right? They're not gonna lay down. Atlanta's not gonna lay down for you. Tampa Bay's certainly not gonna lay down for you. And that is a scrappy team. Cincinnati plays you guys really, really good all the time. It's, I mean, Pittsburgh, if they play Pittsburgh, but yeah, they play Pittsburgh again, right? St. Louis is certainly not going to lay down for you. Even if they're completely out of it by that final weekend, it's not like they're going to lay down for you guys. They might sit some guys. They might play some rookies and, maybe not push it as hard, but they're not exactly going to lay down for you either, right? It's just, I don't know if that's the kind of talk that's happening in the clubhouse. And they're really looking at the schedule and saying, why didn't we take advantage and stack more wins when we had the chance, right? Why didn't we beat these Rockies, Washington, the Braves when they had the chance? There's just too many missed opportunities. And I don't think that they're taking it seriously. And I don't think that there's any sense of urgency across that entire clubhouse. And I cannot speak for the younger guys because PCA, this is going to be his first season getting into the playoffs. If they get into the playoffs, same thing for a Matt Shaw. There's a lot of young guys in there, but there's also a lot of vets who have been there before. Tucker, Hap, Swanson. Maybe what you need to do is get in there next year, somebody who actually has some experience, but also has the fire. Because we can't keep bringing in players that are so passive. Again, no need of flipping tables, no need to be yelling, no need to be breaking things. I'm not saying any of that, right? Breaking the iPads and all that, but you do need somebody in there that's going to fire you guys up. It's going to get you guys ready to say, hey, wake the F up. Just like Justin Steele told him last year, wake up. What are you guys doing? Stop trying to post and hope that team that comes into here, because if we keep that top spot, yes, they have to come here into Chicago and beat us. It's I mean, like, it's just like they look at that Padres team and be like, well, they're not hitting any home runs, like Boog was talking about. I can't figure out why they're not hitting home runs. That you can't depend on that. The team that comes into town in October win, and if we make it to October, don't count on, well, that Padres team's not really doing anything. How do you know that Tatis is not going to go off? How do you know that when you're it's a 3-2 game, you guys are down by a run, they're not going to throw that triple-headed monster they have in the back end of that bullpen that includes Mason Miller? Like, are you guys not thinking about that? So maybe now the time for you to guys to start taking this a little bit more serious, right? You don't think that if somehow, and I'm again, these are all just supposedly, they get past the Padres, they go into Milwaukee. You don't think Milwaukee's gonna do everything they can? That's not gonna even be like just a little bit more of an adrenaline boost to them to say they're coming into our house, and all we have to do is beat our rivals to get to the NLCS, and they're not gonna just. Pat Murphy's not gonna charge those guys up just a little bit to say, hey, now it's time for us to not only step on their throats, put them out of their misery, but then use them as a stepping stone to get to NLCS. They don't think about that they're not waiting for them. Because I know that 10 years ago, that was us. And what do you mean 10 years ago? You guys don't remember 10 years ago in the NLDS when the Cardinals were waiting for us? They had won 100 games. They were waiting for us. We looked like we were the lamb getting led to the slaughter, right? Here we come. Here they come. These puppies, they've gotten lucky. They had their little cute little victory against the Pirates. They're all charged up. These guys are too young. They're not going to beat us. We've won 100 games. We might have some injuries. And what did the Cubs do? The Cubs said, no, this is the dragon we want to slay right now. Not only do we get to beat these guys, this is our rival, and this is one of our main rivals, and we get to beat them, and all we have to do is just beat them and go to the NLCS. They did it. They lost in the NLCS in the Mets. They got swept, but that was the team that was ready. You don't think the Milwaukee's going to look at that and take that as a challenge? So maybe what Craig should do is get these veterans and pull them aside and say, hey, I need you guys to go in there and talk to them, right? This is a veteran thing. This is what you pay Justin Turner for, right? To get him charged up and to talk to him as a veteran. Get your Justin Turners, get your Kyle Tucker, get your Ian Happ, get a Dansby Swanson, who has won a World Series, by the way, in 2021 with the Braves, and get them charged up. Because guess what? When the end of the season comes, if you guys don't get your heads out of your behinds, guess what? It's gonna be a short 2 days. You guys are gonna play 2 days, and then you guys can go right home, pack your bags at Wrigley. It's not gonna be too far. Them 2 games, Padres are gonna come beat you. Tatis is gonna stick his little tongue out. waving at everybody and trolling everybody, and they're gonna go right on to Milwaukee, and God knows what's gonna happen there. And you guys are gonna go right back home, pack your stuff, and go golfing because we're not gonna see you to the Cubs convention where this team is gonna go ahead and sell you more crap and say, last year, no, 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 no. Now we're ready. Now we're ready. PCA's another year older. Matt Shaw's another year older. Now we're ready. Right? By then, we'll know if Kyle Tucker's even going to sign. We won't even know because it'll still be January. The guy will still be probably fielding offers by then. We need to have that sense of urgency today. Start it tomorrow in Atlanta and come back to Wrigley in the weekend and get it going. Get your heads out of your behinds, guys, because I'm telling you, it's going to be a very, very, very short October. And if that happens, I'm going all out because I'm gonna call it like it is. I love my Cubbies. I'm wearing my Cubbies shirt now. I'll love them no matter what. But at the end of the day, they're blowing a very big opportunity to take this to a deep playoff run, and you don't know what's going to happen if you run into some momentum. And if that momentum doesn't start today, I'm telling you, or tomorrow, I should say, October's going to be a very, very painful experience for you guys. All right, guys, that's my time.